Hello, everyone. How are you? Can you hear me, guys?
Yes, Ali, we can hear you perfectly. So,
Okay, perfect,
in
perfect.
time, try to invite your colleagues and friends so we can start the session and make sure that everyone can benefit from what Ali is going to share with you during this session. So, Ali, the floor is yours. If you need anything, we are here, me, Yusuf, and Amy.
Thank you so much, Salil. Thank you so much, guys. So, uh, before all, I'm just going to introduce myself. My name is Chahtour, and I'm a software blockchain developer at Latency Under Blockchain. So, in this session, I'm going to show you exactly, and I'm going to introduce to you like the file service provided by Hedera, and what we can do with that service. Okay, so yeah. Before all, I just want to hear like I just want to know, do you have like any idea about the Hedera network? Of course, you can like put your answers on the chat. What kind of information that you have about the Hedera network? Do you like try to interact with it or not? What are the services provided by Hedera and all of those stuff? Okay. Okay, I think that there is a problem on with someone. He can't hear like what I'm just saying. Okay, okay, perfect, perfect. It's really nice that the problem solved for you. Okay, so I'm just going to dive directly to the session. So, what is the file service? Before all, I'm just going to share with you like a link, guys. So this link is the Hedera documentation. So every single question about technical question, I mean, about how we can develop on top of Hedera, you will find the answers here. Okay. So yeah, um, this documentation, and I really like advise everyone who wants to be a Web3 developer on top of any like network you are using or any network you are going to develop on. First thing you need to do is to read their documentation, because the documentation of the network is the only truthful source that you have in order to have like the answers about how you can interact with the network, how you can build applications on top of the network, how you can like deploy smart contracts and all of those stuff. Okay, so yeah, the first thing that you need to do is to get a look or take a look on the Hedera documentation. And also, I'm going like to share my screen right now. Okay, so yeah, search bar, like type Hedera or file service.
There?
No, just file service. Exactly. So I think, yeah, the second one, that's it. Yeah, click on it, please. Okay, just click on create the file. Okay, perfect. So yeah, that's it. Just yeah, fix the screen here. So the first thing that we notice is that the maximum size or the file size, the maximum file size that we can store using the Hedera file service is 1 MB. Okay, which is like it's not like a big size. Okay, so this service is not dedicated for video files or for like some like with big volume files. Okay, so what we just the like the this service is meant just for some purpose or some special purpose to solve. Okay, so what are exactly the purposes that we need, that or the cases or the use cases that we need to use this file service? First thing, we can use this service to create an NFT collection. I don't know like if you have any information about the fungible tokens or non-fungible tokens. Like you can just answer me on the channel or on the discussion. Do you like have any information, or do you know the difference between fungible tokens or non-fungible tokens? Okay, I think that there's no answer. So just to make it simple for you guys, not fungible tokens are like tokens that we can exchange that have the same value. So you can like consider fungible tokens like cash. So for example, if I have like $10 in cash, um, and you have another $10 in cash, we can exchange that cash between us. So I didn't lose anything, and from your side also you didn't lose anything because we exchanged the same value. Okay, so that's what we call about fungible tokens. And the tokens or crypto monies like Bitcoin or Ethereum or Solana or even HBAR, the native token of Hedera, are considered as fungible tokens. Okay, because if we exchange the same quantity of tokens together between us, uh, technically we exchanged like the same value. So yeah, that's why we call them fungible tokens. Now let's move to the non-fungible tokens. So non-fungible tokens are of course the opposite. Okay, so you can consider it like, for example, the um, Mona Lisa art, okay, or the Mona Lisa art, okay? So if someone have the original copy of the Mona Lisa and another one have like a fake copy of Mona Lisa, they can't exchange the copies between each other, okay? Because technically, technically or in reality, they didn't have the same value, okay? So what in some real world examples where we can implement NFTs. We can implement NFTs, for example, on real estate. So yeah, for example, if I have a house, for example, I own a house, I can create the ownership of the house on top using an NFT. Okay, so um, what we can so yeah for so just simply because the house have like a unique location, okay, and a unique surface, and also a unique owner. All of those data are unique for that house to make us able to create it or to create an NFT for it. Because the NFTs are just they have like they are not they are unique, and what they make them unique is the data attached to it. Okay, their data attached to that NFT makes that NFT unique. That's exactly the idea of the NFTs. So yeah, by that we can use the concept of NFTs on multiple use cases. For example, like real estates. For example, we can, if even my own car, I can create for it like an NFT. Even the identity of each people or of each person, we can create identities using NFTs. Okay, so yeah, that's all the real world use cases for NFTs. Okay, yeah, that's exactly the idea. And now let's link it with the file service. So for example, I told you you need to have data, or you need to have you need to have data in order to create an NFT collection. So that data need to be stored somewhere. Okay, need to be like located in some place. So the most used the most used the most used solutions is storing the data on IPFS, for example, okay, which is like a decentralized storage system, okay. But it's not like, because now there are a lot of IPFS providers, and to provide or to consume their services, you just need to pay a lot of money. Okay, depends on the size of the information that you are going to store. So that's why Hedera service, Hedera provided this service of file service. If you are going to create, for example, an NFT collection, you don't have to go like, for example, to IPFS in order to store your NFT there. You can store your data on the file service on Hedera directly. You are going just to pay little like a little bit of fees, okay? That's it, and then you can like link your NFTs directly to data. You can link the data stored on the file service directly to your NFTs. That's exactly the idea. Also, we can use the file service on Hedera when we are going to deploy smart contract. Okay, so and in this session, that's what I'm going to show you exactly how you can deploy a smart contract, okay, on top of a Hedera using the file service. So I'm just going like to show you, or I'm just going to explain to you the steps of creating the steps of creating a smart contract. Okay, the first thing to create smart contract, the first thing that you need to do is to develop your contract using the Solidity programming language. Okay, because as you know, Hedera network, it's an EVM, which means like an Ethereum virtual machine. And while it's an Ethereum virtual machine, it directly means that the smart contracts are developed using Solidity. Okay, so the first thing the developer need to do is to develop the smart contract using Solidity. After that, the virtual machine of Hedera doesn't like understands directly a high level language, which is the Solidity language. We need to like to build the contract or the code, okay, that we developed, and to make it, for example, and to make it like a bytecode, which is the machine code, okay, which is the code that directly the machine can understand. Okay, so yeah, after that, after like generating the bytecode, that bytecode need to be stored somewhere. Okay, need to be stored in like in one place. Okay, so for that we use the file service to store the bytecode, okay, on a file on the Hedera system. Okay, then we can create or we can deploy a contract using that file, which means using the bytecode stored in that file. Okay, so yeah, that's exactly the purpose and what it helps, and also this like concept or this idea helps us in many other like many other things. For example, if you create a file using that bytecode, and that bytecode, of course, represents a special smart contract code, of course. So, like for example, if you want to sell your code to another one, okay, you can directly send him the ID of that file, and he can consume it or use it directly to deploy the contract directly on his application, for example. And by that, the things are becoming easy to exchange codes and to exchange like applications between each other. So yeah, that's exactly the purpose of the Hedera file system or the Hedera file service. Yeah. Okay, so the first thing that I want you to know is to access to the documentation. So all the answers are answered, or the answers are like provided in this documentation. So yeah. Now I think, like for example, I need to share my own screen because I'm going to show you like a code. Okay, so I don't know how to do it, so just find another one or another time in order to.
Please try to not. Please try to share only the the section that you are willing to share, not the entire screen. I think this is the issue
Okay, okay, I will try it.
the Discord. I guess it is functioning for me.
Okay, okay. Does it work now?
Yeah, it is working now.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much, Salil. So, as you can see, first thing that I told you to do in order to create a smart contract is to develop the contract using the Solidity programming language. And this is an example of a smart contract developed using Solidity. So let's really understand what this contract really do. Okay, so this contract is called Hello Hedera. Okay, and it's just stored some variables, which is the owner of the contract, of course, and a message, which is it means like this contract is going to store a message, and what we are going to do exactly is always we are going to provide a function that we call it a set message. So this function is going to change the message stored and also a get message. So this function is going to read the message stored on this contract. Okay, so yeah, and as you can see, or as you can notice, there is a function that called constructor, which is like the init function. So this constructor is going to be executed automatically when we are going to deploy this contract. So while the execution of the transaction of deploying the contract on the network, directly this constructor is going to be executed, okay, and automatically is going to be executed, and we are just going to provide to him a parameter, which is the message, okay, the initial message that need to be stored on the contract, okay, and also he's going to detect who is the owner of the contract, which is the one who is going to deploy the contract directly. Okay, so yeah, also in the set message function, it only allows the owner of the contract to change the message. So yeah, that's the only condition that we just put. And the function get message, it doesn't require any condition. So that's why anyone can read it directly from the contract. Yeah, so I think it's really a simple like contract, okay, that we can implement it, or anyone can develop it in an easy way. Okay, so yeah, now to deploy this contract on the Hedera documentation, or on the Hedera network, I just told you that we need the bytecode, or we need to generate the bytecode. Okay, so to do that, you have like multiple solutions or multiple ways to do it. So first thing, you can like use the Remix IDE, which is like a web IDE provided for Web3 developers. You can directly develop your contract there, or write your contract there, and after that you can generate the bytecode, and it will provide you directly the bytecode. Okay, yeah. Or you can use like all the solutions. There is some packages, or there's some packages that you need to implement, or you need to install, and after executing them, there is a file that will be generated, okay, for you, that provides you with the bytecode of the contract. So in this session, I'm not going to show you exactly how to generate this file, okay, because it's not our objective, or it's not like our purpose for this session. And I really ensure to you that it's like an easy thing to do. You just like, for example, you can type on Google, or you can type on YouTube how to build or how to generate the bytecode of my smart contract using, for example, sol.js. Yeah, solc.js. Yeah, with the package solc.js, it's going to provide you with functionality or with the needed functionality in order to generate this bytecode. Okay, so after executing this functionality, I just have my my own file that where I can find my bytecode. So the location is data, bytecode, and object. So this one is my bytecode, okay, that I'm going to use in order to deploy the contract. Okay, then this is the first step, is developing the smart contract using Solidity. Then I need to generate the bytecode. After that, if I'm going to go, if I'm going to show you like exactly how we can create or how we can deploy the smart contract. So first thing I just want you to do is this is like a special project, okay? And every time you develop or you create a special project on Hedera, you just need to import the necessary like functionalities that you are going to execute or that you are going to consume in that project. That's it. So we just like installed the package of Hedera, which is the Hashgraph SDK. Okay, we just installed the SDK of Hedera, and that SDK contains all of those functionalities. Okay, so for example, I'm going to call the function client, which is like a special function that creates to us a special client, which is the intermediary between us and the network. So this third party, okay, is going to communicate directly with the network. Okay, I'm going to create a special one, and I'm going to give him my credentials, which are my, for example, my credentials of my wallet, the public and the private key. And using those credentials, he can execute transactions directly on the network. That's it. Okay. Then an account ID. So this function is just like makes you able to read or to present certain string, to present it as like in a format of an account ID. That's it. That's the purpose of using account ID. Also private key. It's the same thing, but it presents like a string and makes it in the format of a private key. That's it. Also, this is the function of file create transaction, which is the function that we are going to use in order to create a file. Okay. Also, then the contract create transaction. So this functionality is going to be used just when we are going to create the contract. That's it. After that, the contract function parameters. So if we are going to use this function just when we are going to implement any parameters. And as I told you, and as I show you on the contract, on the smart contract, there is like a lot of functionalities that needs to have parameters in order to execute them. So there is a special way to present or to implement parameters on Hedera using this functionality. I'm going to show you like in the later on the functionalities. Okay. So also contract call query. So this function is just specialized for calling functions from a smart contract. So what I mean by calling, it means like we are going to read information. And when I say read information, it means that we are going to call get function. Okay, we can't use contract call query with a set function. It's not gonna be working, because if we are going to execute, or if we are going to execute of a set function, we need to use the contract execute transaction. This is the special function in order to use it to call a set function. That's exactly the difference. So we use contract call function or contract call query with getter functions, and contract execute transaction with setter functions. That's exactly the difference between them. And also contract info query, just like you can say it's another function just to show you all the information about that contract. Okay, so yeah, it's not a really important one for me. Okay, so yeah, after that, after calling or after importing all my functionalities that I'm going to use, I'm just going to to call my credentials. So I just generate a .env file. So this .env file contains my credentials, my private key, and this is my private key and my public key. So this address is used on testnet, so it's not like mainnet account. So that's why I don't have any problem of sharing it with you guys. You can use it if you want, okay? Because it doesn't contain real money. That's it. That's the thing. Why I'm showing you my credentials. Okay, so yeah, I just called my account ID, which is located on the .env file, and my account ID, and my private key, which is located on the .env file, and my private key. That's the first thing. Then I'm going to create a special client. Okay, as I told you, a special client. So this client is the third party between us and the network. Okay, so this client is specialized only for testnet. Okay, I can create, if you want to interact with the mainnet network, you can directly put for mainnet. Okay, but we are going to interact directly with the testnet. So that's why I create a client specialized for the testnet network. That's it. Then this client, I just provide him with my credentials. So it means like you can say that you told him these are my credentials, and you can use them in order to execute the transactions. That's it. That's what I mean by this this code. Okay. Okay. Perfect. This is like the initial, or the setting, the settings that I need to put in before starting developing any project. Okay, that's it. Then I create a special contract or a special function, which is deploy smart contract. Okay, so I told you that first I need to have the bytecode in order to create a file where I can store my bytecode, and then using that file I can deploy the contract. And that's exactly what I just did. So I call the file, which is the hello Hedera JSON file, this one. Okay, yeah, this one. I just call it, okay, or import it. Then I directly get access to the object, so which is the data bytecode object, where my bytecode exists. Okay, then I create a file using the function file create transaction. Okay, so I told you I just import this function file create transaction, and using that function I can create a file. It allows me to create a file. Okay, so I create a file and I set the content of the file, which is the bytecode. I set the bytecode as the content of that file. That's it. Then this transaction is going to be executed by whom? By, of course, the client. Okay, so I execute the transaction of creating a file using my client. Then I get the receipt of that transaction. In order, so the receipt, we always get the receipt to get informations or to extract informations from them. And what is the information that I'm going to extract from the creating transaction file? It's simply the file ID, because I need to have the file ID in order to communicate with that file again in the future. So yeah, that's it. That's exactly the purpose of getting the receipt of any transaction. So yeah, and by that I get the receipt, okay? And from the receipt, I get the file ID. That's it. Then I just console log it on, and put it on the console log, okay? And after that, using that file ID, I can create a smart contract. Simply, okay? So using the function contract create transaction, okay? And I set bytecode file ID. I give him the file ID that I just generate, and also I give him like some gas, because like when we develop, why we use set gas is just to check if that contract is really complex, okay, and the complexity of the contract is really high. It means that there is a problem with the contract, because every time the complexity of the code or of the complexity of the smart contract is going to be high, it means that we are going to pay a lot of fees when we are going to execute transactions, which is not good for users. That's why we set that like the maximum gas, okay, which is a maximum gas, which is like a maximum value. If we pass it during the creation of the contract, directly that transaction is not going to be executed and it's going to be reverted. That's the purpose of using set gas. And then, as I told you, and after that, as I told you, when we are going to deploy this contract, it contains the constructor function. And that constructor function, if you rightly remember, we need to put a parameter on it. Okay, that parameter, which is the message, the initial message that we are going to use or that we are going to store. And just I'm going to show you exactly how you can implement a parameter. Okay, using the function contract function parameters. I just import from here. Okay, yeah. So this function, contract function parameters, I'm going to use it just to implement a parameter. And this parameter is with type string. So that's why I put add string. And after that, I just enter that I'm going to store while the contract is going to be deployed. Yeah. So yeah, this is the transaction of creating a new contract. And after that, of course, we are going to execute this transaction using the client, okay, as always. And then I'm going to get the receipt, okay. And why I get the receipt? Just directly or simply to get the contract ID, because in future, I'm going to interact with that contract to execute their functionalities. So to interact with the contract, you just need to have the contract ID in order to interact with it, okay. So yeah, so I get the contract ID and I put it on a console. That's it. Then yeah, I just return it like as value of return. That's it. Okay, so let's move directly, or let's fast take let's take a look on the query message. So this query message is dedicated in order to read information from the contract. Okay, so in our contract, there is only one get message, which is the function name is get message. That's it. So using the function call contract query, as I told you, the call contract query or contract call query is used only with getter functions. I just set like a gas, okay, and then I give him the contract ID, which is the contract that he's going to interact with, and the name of the function that he's going to execute. That's it. So this is our transaction. Then we are going to execute this transaction with our client, and from the response of that execution, I will have the content of the message. So I'm just going to show. I'm just going to tell him that the message is going to be like a string. So that's why I told him get string, because the value or the type of the return is going to be string. So yeah, that's why I used get string. Yeah. Then the message, I'm going to put it on a console log. Yeah, that's it. Also, this function is going to execute a set message. Okay. So I'm going to call a set function. Using to call a set function, I told you that we need to use the contract execute transaction. Okay, then I need to specify which contract that I'm going to interact with. Okay, and also I set the gas, the maximum gas. Okay, then I just told him that the function name is set message, and the parameter that need to be implemented with is a string of message. Yeah, that's it. I just implement the message as a parameter here in the function. Yeah. Then I'm going to execute the transaction with the client as always, and I'm going to get the receipt of the transaction, and from that receipt I can directly show the transaction ID. Okay. So and of course the transaction ID, it helps you to track the transaction if it was executed successfully or not. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's it. And this is the main function, okay, which is at first I'm going to deploy a contract, which means create a contract. So in that function, deploy smart contract, where I create a file and store in that file the bytecode of the contract, and then I create or I deploy the contract using that file. That's it. Then I'm going to query the message. I'm going to read the initial message stored on that contract. Then I'm going to set a new message, which is hello, it's Ala. And finally, I'm going to read again the message, and I'm going to check if the message was changed successfully or not. So yeah, I'm going just to execute the this file, yeah, or this code. So exactly. And you are going to see exactly how it's going to be worked. So the first step is creating the file ID. So this is the file ID that we need to use in order to create the contract. So this file contains the bytecode, okay? Then, using that file, I just create a smart contract. And this is the ID of the contract, okay? Then I just read the first message stored, okay? Which is hello from Hedera, okay? Then I execute a function, or I execute like the function of changing the message, okay? And this is the transaction ID of that transaction, okay? Then I just read the message again, and it was changed successfully with hello it's Ala, as expected, as you can see, okay? So yeah, and for the last thing that I want to show you is when I just copy the contract, the address, or yeah, the transaction ID, and let's move directly to the. I'm going to share my screen again. So I think this one. Yeah. Okay, yeah. And I'm just going directly to the explorer of Hedera, which is the hash scan. Okay, so I'm going to. Yeah, so and I just paste here the transaction ID, and I make the research. So as you can see, it gives you all the description of that transaction. So first thing, that the transaction was executed successfully. That's the first thing. The type of this transaction, it's like call contract or contract call. It means that this transaction means like this transaction is executed or executes a functionality on a smart contract. That's what it means by contract call. Also, you can find the message that you put, okay, which is hello, it's Ala. Okay. Also, you can find all the fees that you paid for that execution, or for that transaction execution. That's it. So yeah. So why exactly we use this tool, or why exactly we use the Explorer? So the Explorer is very helpful for developers, because if we, for example, we faced some problems, or we faced a problem with one transaction, and we don't know exactly when the problem was happened, so we can directly put the transaction ID on the Explorer, and we can check step by step on which step the problem was occurred. Okay, so yeah, that's why we use the Explorer. Also, we can use the Explorer as a proof, okay, as like a source of proof. For example, if you send some tokens from you to another person, you can provide him with the transaction ID, and he can copy and paste this transaction ID on the Explorer to check if the transaction was executed successfully or not, and to check all the information of that transaction. He can check the amount sent. Also, he can check if his address was put correctly or not. And yeah, he can check everything using the Explorer. So yeah, that's it. I hope like I show you. This is the purpose of the session, to show you exactly how we use the file service. I hope like you understand very well. So now, if you have like any questions, please you can like open your mics and like go for it and ask your questions. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Okay, Talal, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly.
Great, great.
But
So I think everything
guys,
is good for me. I think I'm done for now. So I don't know, like, if
yes,
there is any question from the from like
audience.
from the
Yeah,
audience. Yeah.
let me check this the chat. The chat. I don't. I guess there is no question, guys. Just a quick question. If everything is clear for you, if you need any kind of support, also like you'll find the session later recorded on and shared on Discord. So please make sure to understand these sessions. Yeah, now we can see questions, Ali, on the
Okay.
chat.
Yeah.
If you want to check, like, what
Okay.
are the
Okay.
most
Thank
common
you.
security vulnerabilities in Solidity smart contract, and how can we prevent them?
Okay, perfect. It's really a great question. So the answer is that there is like some pre-built or some pre-built you can say some pre-built interfaces that already developed and really audited by by professional securities. Okay, for example, you can use, for example, the yeah, I'm going to share my screen all the time. Okay. If you remember, and I just stored the owner directly on the constructor when the contract was deployed. Okay, so there is like an already built interface which is called like owner, that you can directly import it from I think, let me check another time, just 1 second. Where is it? Where is it? I think it's here. Okay, contracts. Yeah, I think this one. There's codes. There's like well-known one, which is the Open Zeppelin. So the Open Zeppelin, you can find all the interfaces, or all the safe interfaces and well-audited codes that you can directly execute, or that you can directly use. Okay, so for example, I can use this one instead of. I don't know if you can see my screen right now. Can you see my screen, guys? Perfect. Yeah, this is the remix ID, as I told you before. Okay, so yeah, this is the for example, I'm going to use a solution of Merkle proof. Okay, so this Merkle proof, it's like a complex thing, and it needs a lot of security. So I'm not going to build it, or I'm not going to develop it from scratch. There is an already developed interface for Merkle proof that I can directly call it from OpenZeppelin. So from Open Zeppelin, I can find a lot of things like Merkle proof, like ownable. The same thing that I show you in the when I store the owner of the contract, it makes the same thing. Also, if I'm going to interact with, for example, tokens or ERC20 tokens, I can directly call the interface IERC20 from the OpenZeppelin, okay? And with that, it provides me with the secure functionalities, already developed secure functionalities that are 100% audited and safe and ready to be consumed. So yeah, so technically, guys, when we are going to develop a smart contract, you are not going to develop everything from scratch. You just need you just need to import the security things from OpenZeppelin, for example, which is the best thing for me, okay, in order to ensure the security of your contract. So yeah, that's it. That's exactly the idea. I hope like that I answered your question. Yes, there is another question. I joined late to the call. Can we use Foundry tool? Of course, you can use Foundry tool. You can also use Hard Hat. Of course, you can use it. Okay. Thanks for the answer. No more questions. Okay. Immutable, undeployed. What are the best practice for designing upgradable contracts in Solidity? Okay, perfect. That's another great question. So there is like it's really true that the contract when we are going to deploy contracts is going to be immutable. It means that we can't make changes on the contract when it's gonna after its deployment. Yeah, it's really true. But there is tools like, for example, the proxy. Okay, there is a tool like we call it a proxy. So this proxy, you can directly import it, or you can directly use it from OpenZeppelin, of course. And this proxy, what it makes exactly, it separates the storage. Okay, so yeah, this is the storage. If I'm going to show you, this is an example of the storage, the mapping and all of that. So this is the storage of the contract. It's gonna separate the storage from the functionalities of the contract. So it means it likes you can consider it that the storage are stored on one place and the functionalities are stored on another place, but they interact with each other. Okay, and with that you can directly make changes on the functionalities without changing the storage. That's it. That's how we can ensure the upgradability of our contract in the future. I hope like that I answer that you have the answer. Perfect. Okay, that's great. Okay, so is there any other questions or everything is good? I think everything is good. Thank you, guys. Thank you for attention. I hope that you really understand exactly the tool of file service. Yeah, I hope like that you really use it on your like projects or something like that, because it's really great tool and you can use it on multiple and many things. Thank you so much again. And Talal, I think I'm done here. So yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ali. Thank you for your time, for your investment, and thank you everyone who were able to join us on this session. And please keep going and keep following us for the next sessions, since we're gonna start the official hacking phase by the beginning of August, which is gonna be the beginning of the next week. So please prepare yourself. Make sure that you are ready, that your ideas are ready, your team is are also ready, and also please make sure that you are gonna be present on Discord and also on our Dora Hacks, so we make sure that everyone is officially subscribed on the platform. Thank you again. Thank you for your time, and see you next week.